Hello, my friends. This is Andy coming to you live from Tri-City Park in Placentia. I'm pretty sure I'm on the Placentia side of the park. Hey, I'm right side outside Tuffrey also. I'll be talking a little bit about Tuffrey in just a minute. But tonight, September 13th, is when I'm broadcasting this. You are to be, as a parent, a grandparent, an uncle, an aunt, a friend, a resident of the PYL area, whether you are in Yorba Linda, Placentia, little sliver of Fullerton, Brea, and Anaheim, is your duty is to attend. Now, I tell you that, and then I'm going to tell you that I'm not going to be there because over here at Tuffrey, tonight is the back to school night where I get to meet all my my daughter's teachers, and I find that to be a priority for me personally, is because I want to know who it is that my daughter is being taught by here at Tuffrey. I know a couple of them already, but there's a couple of new teachers that I don't know, and I want to make sure and be there, meet them, and see what their classrooms look like and all that kind of stuff. And I understand that many of you also probably have back to school nights also. So those of you that do not, are lucky enough not to have a back to school night tonight in the PYL area, I would suggest that you go because you'll learn a lot by going to a school board meeting. You will see some of the school board members and superintendents that will be speaking, and listen to what they have to say. Listen to the words carefully, and just simply pay attention to what's going on in your school district. It's extremely important. So make sure that you go tonight. Again, take 5 people with you. It's important to show the school board members and the district superintendents that you are interested in what happens in the school district, and that you will hold them accountable. And again, you'll listen to their words. Remember that this country was based on that men are created equal, not on equity. Equity is a buzzword, a word that sounds great, but in fact is not something that it should be allowed in our schools to push equity and inclusion. That is part of CRT. CRT has been banned in our school. Fortunately enough, 3 out of the 5 school board members did vote to ban CRT. However, you will hear this word included in some of the speaking points, whether it's a superintendent talk about some new program that they're bringing in, they will sneak in this word equity. Again, why is this important? I'm going to show you right here that equity and equality have 2 entirely different meanings. Equality seeks to protect individual rights regardless of race, and that is how our country was built. Equity, when used by the education and essentially any politician that uses it, it seeks to divide the world into competing racial groups and ensure race-based equity of outcomes, endorsing active racial discrimination to get there. And this is something that they use. They use it in things such as like iReady. They'll use it in things that are social studies. In different ways, they'll be using these words, these buzzwords, to essentially tell you that they're going to use racism and sexual issues to divide people into different groups, and thereby causing your son or daughter to either believe that they're oppressed or they're oppressors. And so we want to make sure that in anything that they bring into the schools in regard to curriculum, what are some of the other things that they bring it into? Oh, sports. They'll bring it into all kinds of different things in the programming of our children in the school. And so of course we want them to not do that. The next thing I want to talk to you about is that before you go, you're going to want to make sure and visit the the website for the Placentia Yorba Linda Unified School District. And some of the things you're going to want to be aware of. Oops, sorry, didn't mean to do that. Here, let's bring this back. There we go. Is go over here to where it says board. Click on where it says board, and of course, you want to familiar yourself with the board members. We have Carrie Buck, Marilyn Anderson, Leander Blades, Sean Youngblood, and Karen Freeman. We have two candidates that are going to be running against Carrie Buck and Karen Freeman. They're down there at the bottom. Be aware and listen to what they have to say. They are clearly people that are past their time and should be voted out by voting in. Todd Frazier and Rich Engel is who are going to be running against these seats that are going to become available. The next thing you're going to want to look at is the agendas. The agendas, you can see that are in these folders. There it is. It comes up. Is you're going to click on 2022 and look for September 13th, which is right here, and you're going to bring up the board agenda materials. Now, you're not going to see that I was able to click on that, but when you click on it, because it's going to a different tab and it won't move over on this particular broadcast, but when you click on that, you're going to want to look at everything that is in the agenda for tonight, which includes what was voted on last month during the last month's school board meeting. And you're going to want to go through some of that. One of those things that's in there is the collective bargaining agreement between the district and the teachers. And I think that's going to be very important that you go through that, because there's a lot of very interesting things in there, considering one of the teachers got up last school board meeting and said that her job as a teacher at the Placentia Yorba Linda Unified School District is one of the hardest, is not one of, it is the hardest job in the world, according to her, and she's miserable. And the which interesting is because there were teachers that were there supporting the teachers union. So it's really odd that you could have somebody that's there supporting the teachers union when you got teachers going up there talking about how miserable they are and how the job of being a teacher at Placentia Yorba Linda School District is the worst job on the planet. But you will find that their compensation, their vacations that they're allowed to have, and all that kind of stuff. To me, it doesn't look like it's actually one of the hardest or worst jobs on the planet. But there's no doubt that you should familiarize yourself with what it is that the teachers are getting compensated, the different steps that they have as they get tenure, and what their vacation and other benefits are that they get for the school district. You'll find, I believe, it very interesting. One of the things I think it's also important is that our candidates for the school board read through that. You also want to read through to see what we're spending money on in regard to resources for the school district and for the different schools, high schools, the middle schools, the elementary schools, and look through that to see where it is that our district is spending money. I would venture to say that there's a lot of nonsense going on where we can actually put more money possibly into the teachers, into their classrooms, so they could do a better job of teaching the kids, considering that our children are under 50% in their performance and ability to read, write, count, and think. And are well below not only the national standard, but the world standard. So I think much of the money that's being spent on some nonsense could be redistributed to actually educating our kids and not indoctrinating the kids. So make sure and read through some of those things. What else is important here? Let's maybe just bring it back up. You're going to want to familiarize. I don't know why I keep mispronouncing that. But I do look at the trustee areas for the elections to make sure you know where it is that your area is and who it is you're going to be voting for, whether it's for Todd Frazier or Rich Engel. It's not coming up. I got a really weak signal out here. Again, I'm out here at the park, but you're going to want to familiarize yourself with where the areas are that you're living in, so that you can vote for the appropriate person who's running in the area that you live in. And again, just click through the website again to make sure you familiarize yourself. Wow, I can't speak today. You're going to familiarize yourself with what's on that website. All right, here we go. All right, another thing I want to talk to you about is I want you to pick up your a copy of this book right here, which is called, it's probably, I don't think it's backwards, but it's Color, Communism, and Common Sense. It's by Manning Johnson. Manning Johnson is a African American who wrote this book back in actually it was copywritten in 1958. There's a picture of him right there, and he talks about his experience in communism. And what you're going to read in this book is many things that are being pushed through, whether it's Black Lives Matter, CRT, DEI, all the things that we are keenly aware of here as parents that we do not want in our schools. And you're going to want to definitely read through this book. So get yourself a copy of this book. Over the next few days, I will be pointing out some things that are in this book. Again, this was written back in 1950. I would say is written probably in the 1940s, 1949, 1946, somewhere in there. And you'll find it very interesting that everything that was being done back then in regard to trying to bring communism into our country and using the African American community to do so, to create hatred and division between Americans in our country. So I'll be bringing that through these broadcasts, some very interesting correlations that I think you'll find very, very interesting. All right. So again, tonight you're going to make sure and attend the school board meeting. It starts at 7 o'clock, but make sure you're there and get early, especially if you have a large influx of parents and grandparents and aunts and uncles that are going to show up and see what's going on. But make sure and get there a little bit early. So the meeting starts at 7. Get there about 6:30. Somewhere in there, you'll meet some of the people. You have an opportunity probably either before it starts or in the break to go forward and talk with some of the school board members. And some of them skedaddle and don't like to be talked to during the break. But I know Leandra and Sean typically remain available for anybody who wants to go up there and talk to them and ask them questions about what's happening or what's happening in the school board. Maybe you have some intel and some information that you want to give them so that they are fully aware of what's happening in the schools from your perspective or from your students' perspective. So make sure and make an opportunity to meet with them and see who it is that they support for school board coming up. All right. So that's it for now. Make sure and attend tonight, 7 o'clock tonight, school board meeting. Be there. Bring 5 people with you. All right, my friends. We'll see you at the next one. Take care. Talk to you later. Bye. Uh-oh. Can't. There it is.